Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings podcast. I remember a holiday moment so simple, yet so enchanting. It began with my grandparents standing beside the Christmas tree. Its lights were glowing gently in the early evening, and the house carried that pleasant hush that settles in once the day's bustle has quieted down. They leaned toward me and said, "Squint your eyes and you'll see the lights better." Naturally, as a curious child, I obliged. In an instant, those bright points of color blurred into radiant halos, as if each bulb had become a tiny star in its own universe. It felt like stepping into a world shaped by whispers and warm glances, where small acts like narrowing your eyes could turn the ordinary into something magical. That memory comes back to me whenever I think about the way families share holiday stories. My grandparents' quiet suggestion wasn't just a neat trick. It was one of many small traditions passed through time, quietly handed from one generation to the next. This squint your eyes hint may never appear in a formal family record, yet it remains as meaningful as any date inscribed in an old ledger. It's part of a larger pattern of storytelling. Those old Christmas yarns spun by parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents who found countless ways to keep the holiday spirit alive, even in modest circumstances. Such storytelling doesn't always appear as a grand narrative. Often it emerges in fragments. An uncle recalling how his grandmother baked a particular pastry every December, or a cousin retelling the story of the year a blizzard kept everyone home, yet somehow made the gathering more intimate and cherished. These spoken memories shape your understanding of your family's past in ways that official documents alone cannot. Records like census entries or birth certificates tell you who lived where and when, but spoken tales show you how they felt and what made them smile during the darkest, coldest days of the year. Holiday storytelling also reflects the resilience and creativity of your ancestors. Imagine someone arriving in a new country, carrying not just clothes and a few belongings, but also recollections of holiday customs from a homeland they might never see again. Over time, these memories blend with the traditions of neighbors and friends who come from different backgrounds. The result is a holiday practice that feels familiar yet contains subtle hints of distant places. A particular kind of sweetbread might reflect cultural mixing, while a favorite carol might have lyrics slightly altered from its original language. By listening closely, you learn that your ancestors were skilled at weaving fresh ideas into old patterns, ensuring that each December felt both comforting and relevant to their new surroundings. What makes these old seasonal yarns so valuable is their personal nature. Anyone can read a history book about winter festivals or religious observances around the world. But it's the specific way your family members experience these events that makes them glow with meaning. Perhaps an ancestor, faced with a year of hardship, once placed a simple candle in the window to guide relatives home. Perhaps a great-grandmother, short on funds, decorated her tree with handmade paper ornaments, impressing her children with the notion that beauty can arise from almost nothing. Such details reveal the character and values of your forebears, showing you how they approached adversity, expressed hope, and found reasons to celebrate together. If your family's tradition of sharing holiday stories has grown quiet, consider ways to rekindle it. One approach is to reach out to older relatives and invite them to reminisce. Ask open-ended questions that spark memories. What did the house smell like when you were young and preparing for Christmas? Or, do you remember any unusual decorations your parents hung on the tree? Even small details, a mention of a neighbor's generosity, a childhood friend who shared sweets, or a moment of laughter during a candlelit supper, can illuminate parts of your family's heritage that would otherwise remain in the shadows. As you gather these recollections, try to record them. A simple audio recording on your phone or a few handwritten notes in a journal will suffice. Later, you might transcribe the stories, creating a small family booklet. Over time, these efforts can grow into a family archive, allowing future generations to connect with relatives they've never met. Pair these stories with genealogical research. If you know your ancestors lived in a particular village or city, Seek out old newspaper clippings or cultural histories of that region's holiday customs. When you set your relatives' voices against the backdrop of documented traditions, you enrich their narratives further, showing how their experiences fit into a broader historical context. You can also look to other sources for more stories. Reach out to local historical societies, ethnic heritage centers, or community groups. Sometimes, hearing how families in the same region celebrated can help fill gaps in your own family's story. If your ancestors moved often or came from multiple cultural backgrounds, learning about other families who did the same may offer clues about why certain customs emerged or vanished over time. Each bit of information helps you piece together your family's unique holiday mosaic. Once you have a growing collection of stories, consider how to bring them into your present celebrations. Maybe share one anecdote at the start of your family's holiday meal, or reintroduce an old tradition mentioned by an elder. If you recall that a great uncle always put a certain dried fruit in his seasonal breads, try doing the same this year. By blending these old accounts into your current holiday routine, you keep those voices alive. Children who hear these tales today may pass them along tomorrow, adding their own perspectives as the years roll forward. In this way, each holiday season becomes more than an isolated event. It is linked to countless Decembers past, through ordinary yet meaningful gestures and stories whispered across decades. When you squint at the tree lights, just as your grandparents suggested, you can imagine the countless eyes that narrowed before yours, older relatives standing before different trees in different times, each one seeing that gentle shimmer and feeling for a brief moment that they were part of something enduring. These holiday yarns remind you that your family's story is ongoing. Names and dates will forever be important, but so too are the warm smiles, clever jokes, and quiet lessons about how to find beauty in simple things. Through storytelling, your ancestors passed down their humor, resourcefulness, and the comfort they found when the year grew darkest. By cherishing these recollections, you ensure that each December your home is filled not only with lights and music, but also with voices from the past. Voices guiding you toward a deeper understanding of who you are and how you came to celebrate these special days in your own unique way. Thanks for spending time with me on the Ancestral Findings podcast. I always enjoy sharing these stories, tips, and discoveries with you. If you haven't already, head over to ancestralfindings.com, where you can download a free genealogy ebook, request a free lookup, and of course enter to win the next book giveaway. It's been an incredible journey together since 1995, and your support through these past 29 years means more to me than words can express. I'm so grateful for this wonderful community of genealogy enthusiasts who continue to inspire me every day. Keep up the great work on your family history research, and may your next find be as exciting as your first. Thank you again for being part of this journey, and as always, happy searching.